Hey everybody, welcome back to 6 Feet Under Exhumed. I am Carrie the Mortician.
I'm Faith, that mortuary professor. This is season 3, episode 8, Tears, Bones, and Desire. And I don't know where we are I don't want to call it a farm. We're at a house, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's all these kids running around, and this man, that they call Daddy is reading, I wouldn't say reading them stories, but telling them stories. And that's it. And I don't recall how he dies.
He just
What
literally sits down and dies.
he just sits down and
Just
dies.
bam,
Okay.
dead.
Okay,
Like,
that's
yeah,
it.
cardiac
So,
episode, whatever you,
yep.
who knows what the actual, but yeah, they show them like these women singing and they're
Yep.
sewing the mops. And then they switch out to the outside and he's doing like this magic thing. And I was like, is he a magician? Like, what's going on? Is this like a
Party or like a
yes, like
yeah,
a
like for the
kid's
kid's birth.
party?
Yeah.
And then they showed him, and I saw who it was. He is notorious for playing these gross bad guys.
Who
Like,
was he? I didn't know.
I
I
don't
didn't know
even know
that.
his name, but he has been in a couple, like, I feel like a westerns where he was like a bad guy with bad teeth. And I feel like he
Oh,
plays like weird pedophile schmarmy dudes. I'd have to look up.
Leon Rippey is his name, but I don't
I
know.
have
I
to look
don't
up, but he,
recognize
I
him.
feel like he always is a weird, gross guy for some
Yeah.
reason.
Well, he looks like a weird, gross guy here for sure.
Yeah, and so
Um,
he's talking about lessons from the book of Daddy, and you're like, what? And then he sits down, the kids are doing something, they turn and they're like, Daddy, Daddy, and you know, understand that he has sat down and just died.
yeah.
Um, So we see this and we're like, what is going on? And then we switch over to our storylines and we've got Rico and his wife and the kids who are sitting in a cemetery.
Yeah.
When they showed the headstone, I was like, whose headstone is that even? And you would find out it's Vanessa's mom. And he says, honey, we're here every Sunday. We come in, we sit at the cemetery for hours.
That's what people used to do.
And they did. They used to picnic on Sundays at the
Yep.
cemeteries. But that's not what she's doing. And she is definitely, you can see, like she is sitting there sobbing
Yeah.
at this headstone still, which, months in is a concern at this. You can go to the cemetery, but like
Yeah.
you can definitely tell this is not, she's not the healthiest in
Right.
where she's at. And she plays it so well. Like you feel it. That's what I will say about this show is when these characters have felt things and gone through things, I'm feeling them.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they're playing it well. And so they kind of have this discussion and she's like, just leave me alone. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like she was important. She's my mother. How do you expect me to go on? I never get to see her again. Like, how do you expect me to be
Yeah.
valid question? You know what I mean? I think that that's
Yeah.
super valid for anybody who loses someone. Like, how do you ever expect me to be okay again? But I expect that question like right in the beginning, maybe
Yeah.
not months and months in all
Yeah.
the time. So we see that it's a concern again for them and that this is kind of a storyline that's going to keep coming through. And then we switch back to the funeral home to a tag team arrangement again, which why they
Not
all
normal. That is not the
know.
norm.
So you
It's
got
not.
David and Nate meeting with these women and come to find out they're all daddy's wives, all four of them. And then this other young girl who keeps making eyes at Nate, which is super creepy.
It's really it's kind of scary because she's,
It's
I mean, maybe what,
yeah.
12?
12, 13,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
Mhm.
Um, and then they're standing there and they're standing. They're not like sitting having a conversation. And this is what like cringed me was they're having this conversation. They all introduce each other and just Nate goes, so do you want us to embalm him?
What the hell? I know.
I'm sorry, but that doesn't just get blurted out in the middle of introductions. And they were like, well, what is embalming? And Dave goes, well, that's where we replace all his blood with some, preservative fluids so you can have a good last moment or whatever. And I was like, this is not
That's
how
not right.
you should. So if this is how your funeral director ever explains it or throws it at you, I am sorry because that is super not sensitive. It's not appropriate. It's too blunt and crass to me and
Yeah.
crass. But so they say this, and the wives kind of go back and forth about should we embalm him? Well, we don't want to do anything to his body, but we love that body of his. And
It's
so
so,
we love that body, so we need to preserve it. The one wife says, you transcend, you don't preserve.
oh God.
So you start understanding some of the
Yeah.
mentality of the Book of Daddy and that it's a bit off.
It's a little bit weird.
It's
Yeah.
full
It's
on a cult
just, ugh.
type of thing.
Yeah.
And they do agree to embalm because they want to spend more time with his body. And the one says something about we need to stay with his body. And he's like, no, like we don't need to. And so one of them says something about space forces are always following us.
Yeah.
And they were like, so you start to realize that there is some scare tactics maybe have been put in place for these women to want to follow him and be there and stuff.
Yeah.
It's odd. It gets even crazier the whole episode, but they agree to embalm, but they want to stay someone with him at all times. They're like, well, you're not allowed in the prep room, and they basically say, you better get us permission because we will be with him at all times. This is a devoted love,
Yeah.
is what it is. Um, Yeah. And I don't know, it's not like we go to the board of mortuary science and say, I need permission for someone to
No,
be in the
not a
preparation
thing.
room. Nobody's policing it. Nobody's coming by the funeral home. But if someone sits in there when we're embalming, even if they sign something, they can still come back later and sue you for mental anguish, for whatever it may be.
Whatever.
And so it is something where we have to be
Bad
very
business
careful.
decision. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a good decision to let them in while you're embalming.
Nope.
Dressing, okay. Other things, okay. But the embalming part is scientific. We are taking care of a body, even though it's your loved one, it's a body.
Yep.
And we are, manipulating their body, not in negative, bad ways, but we're having to,
Move
move
it.
their
Yeah.
arms around, move their legs around, wipe poop off, take
Yep.
take purge off,
Yep.
all these things that we need to just be able to do what we need to do without scrutiny the
I
whole
didn't like how they showed him being embalmed. I don't know if you caught this. When they showed like
covered.
well, that and like with a transparent tube,
Yeah.
big ass tube coming out of an incision with no blood or that is not how it's I mean, okay, they have I guess they had the incision in the right-ish place, but it is not this clean process where it's I mean it does come in a tube, but it's not, this beautiful, clean,
Yeah.
perfect thing, and there is blood running out of that constantly. It has to drain somewhere, you
Well, they
know.
had they had a blanket over him from like
Yeah.
chest down, which
Where do you think
great
that
for modesty, but you have water, you have
yep,
embalming
blood.
fluid, and you have blood that is going to be out of tubes. It's not all encased, like you said.
Yep.
That blanket's going to be completely saturated because you should
Yep.
have running water the whole time because it helps keep everything moving. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want standing blood, standing
Yep.
embalming fluid. And so everything's going to be wet and such. What a lot of people will do for modesty is take like a washcloth or a towel to cover private areas, or
Yeah.
even what's called web roll, which is a pressed cotton, and it comes in sheets just like um, paper towel. It's just thicker and more of a cotton material, and they'll lay that over private areas for modesty. But not a whole sheet covering literally
Absolutely
from chest
not.
down. There's
You have
too
to
much.
move that stuff through. It's not at all. I saw that. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Well, and the
That's,
look on her face, she was like,
yeah,
and just kept like smiling, like weird, creepy, funky, like not okay. And then when the one was sitting down, she was singing a song outside the cooler with him in it, like she was singing to him. I,
Was this before or after he was embalmed? Because he shouldn't be
before,
like, okay, I was
before.
gonna
It
say,
was the night,
okay,
basically the first night,
yeah,
and then the next day is when they embalmed.
okay.
Which why they didn't involve him right away, who knows? But yeah, so it was weird. But the art teacher does some weird stuff. We keep getting art teacher stuff, which that whole storyline, I'm like, none of this is necessary to the rest of the
Mm-mm.
story. I think it builds Claire's character and we're seeing her transform a bit, but I'm like, "Ugh, just make this all go away."
Well, yeah, and she's like still his assistant, so he's making her like do some errand she doesn't want to do. So they go to his house, and Russell stays behind because he doesn't want Russell to go with her for some reason. And it's just weird, and she's just over him. He's weird and creepy. So Russell stays behind. She has to go to wherever it is that's not close to do some stupid errand for him that has nothing to do with school or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just a personal
Well, it's to go
errand.
pick up a donated art piece for an auction or something.
Uh-huh.
And she travels, which I do like that they incorporate. She has to drive through the desert and it's like 170 degrees or something.
Yeah.
And she gets to this woman. The woman says, "You're going to want to stay here for an hour or two because it's so hot and the sun, even if you're in the car driving, is so intense. You
Mm-hmm.
probably shouldn't be driving out through the desert right now." And I
Yeah.
was like, huh, that's very smart. They incorporated that. So Claire sits there with this woman and finds out she also used to be the art teacher's assistant and that he's kind of full of crap because he hasn't really had any good art in like 20 plus
Yeah.
years. And he just keeps trying to sell his old art because he has nothing new. So he's kind of a smoke and mirrors sort of
Yeah.
art teacher. And then she talks about how when she was his assistant, they had sex all the time. And she's like, "Haven't you guys?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, isn't he interested in you?" And she goes, I don't know." And she goes, "Well, is he having a boy year?"
Yeah.
And Claire's like, a red flag goes off like,
Yeah.
"Oh, shoot, I just left my boyfriend with him. What if something's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
Because she always thought he was gay.
Yep.
So this creates a lot of suspicion over the next couple episodes that
Well, yeah.
there's like, well, did they? Because when she gets back, then later that night, she kind of says, "Did anything happen with you
Well,
two?"
no, when she gets back to the house, Russell like jumps up and is like, "Let's go." Like,
Well, and the guy's getting
which,
dressed.
and
He's
he's
like
getting
putting his
dressed and
watch back on, getting ready
yeah.
to go out to dinner, and she's kind of suspicious. And then later she's like, "Did anything happen?" And he's like, "Oh no." But then they both kind of go silent as they're not like her head's on his chest, so they're not seeing each other, but you see both their faces and you see him kind of like have a look and her have a look, and you're like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Did it? Didn't it? What's going on? So a lot of suspicion with that. Then we've got the paintball.
Oh,
A lot happens in this episode. So we've got paintball and
love this.
Nate, Keith's
David.
like, or David, Keith's like, "Hey, David, I'll meet you at paintball. I gotta go for an interview and then I'll meet you there." So they go play paintball, and Keith wants to be on a different team than David and is basically trying to take out on him what happened when he went to the party with David, where they had to be Gene Triple, they all had a name of a character and they had to guess who their name was that was on their back. And he was Gene Triplehorn and he
Yep.
didn't get it. So they all made him feel stupid because of it. So this was his retaliation because the gay couple whose house they had gone to are there playing as well.
Yes.
So they play this big paintball game and it's really funny. And it like plays out, they have a guy on their
Some
team
of them are very, very serious about it.
very serious. And they have Sarge on their team, on David's team, who is a big meatheady sort of guy. And he ends up coming home with David and Keith to have a drink and stuff. And then he gets drunk and he goes and lays down and then comes into their room and says, "Hey, is there room for me?" So it's kind of this moment where they've never really had this threesome presentation, this, are we going to do this in our relationship? There's really no time to discuss it. So it's like, what do you do? And they just both are like, okay. So they end up having a threesome with this guy. And then
Ugh.
they're in the morning cooking breakfast and
Yeah.
having breakfast. And I feel like you need to have a little chit chat about that before you just jump into it. But Keith just seems very eager to go down this line of a relationship. I don't know if David's cool with it, if he's not cool with it. I don't know.
I don't think he is, but uh, I don't know. I don't think he's that against it either, as long as it's just fun and not,
Yeah. I
I
think
mean,
if they had maybe discussed it beforehand, but they did
yeah.
not. So it's kind of a new thing. So we'll see how that affects them. Keith seems to not be as connected with David right now. It's very like he's kind of
He's
feeling
like angry about something.
he's got some things going on. And
Yeah.
so we'll see how that plays out because I don't remember that part of the storyline. So it's kind of new to me again, watching it again.
Yeah.
But so we do that. Then we've got Lisa,
Lisa is so weird.
and she
This is
is
too much.
full on. I don't trust anybody. I want to know why you guys broke up. And she's like pressing Nate again, like, why did you break up? What happened? And then he's like, I don't even know. Like, it just ended. She's like, it's too clean. Relationships don't break up that easily and be that clean without there being something. Like, there should, maybe there's something between you two still. Maybe there's this, maybe there's that. And it's like, girl, at some point you just got to let it go. You can't ask about it 1,000 times over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like
Yeah.
she's in a spiral.
Yeah.
Well, her friend that they went camping with, I don't remember the blonde girl's name.
Dana.
What is it?
Dana.
Dana. She
Yeah.
comes over for coffee or tea or whatever, and they're chatting about this whole thing. And I thought it was interesting. Dana goes, well, you have nothing to worry about. Nate would never leave. He loves,
Yeah.
is it Maya or Mia?
Maya.
Loves Maya too much.
Yeah.
And the look on Lisa's face was like, but not me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The way she phrased it was like he would never leave because of the baby, kind of thing.
Right.
Um, so then they come up with this whole idea that she should go get a massage from Brenda because Brenda's
Now,
not her.
this is crazy, but this is something I probably would have done in like my early 20s maybe.
Back in
But
the
not
day, yes.
but not at 40, which is the route what they're supposed to be at this point. And I just am like I don't know. Part of me appreciates it because it's funny and it's the kind of like ridiculous stuff young people do, but they're not young people.
No.
And it's just weird. It's too much. It's creepy.
Well, and it's like, what does she hope to garner from going there? And maybe she just wants to see her, but
To
then
see what she looks
it's
like, or
just
she
you
wants
and
to see
her
like,
spending an hour
mhm,
together with her touching your body. Like,
weird.
it is weird. It's not like doing a drive-by or
Yeah.
stalking. It's a whole new level. And they kind of have this interchange because she taps into her aura or whatever. And Lisa has a moment and she's crying. And then Lisa looks at Brenda and says, are you okay? And Brenda says, yeah, why? And she said, you just look sad. And it was just a very sweet moment because I think it
Hmm.
shows how sweet that Lisa, I think, is. She just is kooky.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of ends. It just does this little interchange and then
I
nothing
think that
but
it's like I don't want to say I don't want to I don't mean like she's disappointed, but it's almost like she kind of like Brenda's not a normal person, but you know what I mean? Like she's
yeah,
just a regular
every
person.
day.
They're just
Yeah,
having this conversation about what they're supposed should be having the conversation about if she's there for a
yeah.
massage, and she like is seeing that okay, this is a real person that, has their own stuff and isn't like this. I don't think she got what she was expecting.
No. But she felt better because that night she's home and Nate's like,
Yeah.
something about you is just radiating kind of. And so
Yeah.
I think it definitely maybe it alleviated some things for her. but yet also, I don't know. Maybe her cleansing of her aura helped her. Who knows?
I won't know. I don't have one. I don't know.
Um, there's a big talk about when the oldest wife, who was probably the legal wife of Daddy,
Yeah.
um, comes in and talks to Ruth
Hmm.
because Ruth's sitting there cleaning her china, her polishing her steel, and she comes in and they talk, and she's just like, "How do you do this?" And she's just like, time doesn't tell the truth about our souls, just love. And talking about like age and different ages, and talking about losing your partner and being a widow, and that they're both widows and now, and that he didn't choose us, we chose him.
Hmm.
And that sometimes that's you choose your person. And I think Ruth resonated with that because she later goes to Arthur and says, Arthur, I just want you to know that I choose you and have feelings for you. And she like walks away, and Arthur's like, huh. And I'm like, good on Ruth for feeling like she could be bold enough to say that, but also, alrighty then. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and little Mary Jane comes in and is flirting with Nate, and
It's so,
it's gross and
it's,
disturbing, but yeah, a bit comical because she is like trying to
you
work
know, she's been
and
like taught how to, or
try
like,
and be alluring and like
yeah.
shake her booty as she's walking away. And I'm
Yeah.
almost a woman now, and daddy's not really my, when she said, did you catch that? Daddy's not really my daddy.
Yeah.
And for a second, I was like, and I don't think I ever really answer, was he his newest, youngest wife? Because they never say when they're standing there, it's the four women and her.
Oh, really? I didn't notice
At the
that.
arrangement, it's the four
Then
women
I think
and
so.
her. So I took it as
Yeah, I bet you're
she
right.
was being groomed as going to
Yep.
be the new wife. I don't know that she was fully the wife yet,
Yep. I
but
bet you're
saying
right.
I'm almost a woman, I think that she was groomed as going to be his next wife,
Yes.
maybe when she became a woman or whatever.
Yes.
And so, and maybe I was reading more into it,
No,
but I
I
was
think
like,
you're probably right. I did not catch that, but I
because
bet
some
you're
of the
right.
comments she made, he's daddy, but he's not my daddy. And I was like, why, if you are a young child and
Uh-huh.
you are around, if that is not your father, why are you there? Unless maybe
Yep.
her mom, whichever, unless because but she's never like calls anybody mom.
You're
She
right.
never. So I questioned that was insinuated.
I think you're right. I never. Yeah, you're probably right. God, I didn't notice that.
So maybe you guys got to tell it. Like, what did you infer when you were watching
Yeah.
it? Did you get those vibes? Because that's what I was feeling, but maybe I
No, I
was
bet you're right. That's,
wrong.
yeah, but she was like trying to flirt with Nate, or it was really gross and
It was really gross.
really sad and
She like did one of those mop handle things and carved his name on it and gave it to him.
yeah.
Luckily, they never went back to that kind of conversation because I was like, please don't let this happen again, like in this. I don't want to see
Yeah.
that again. Like it's just it's so creepy. And they didn't take it further, which I was thankful
Hmm.
for.
Yeah.
Because it was just ugh. And they never, do you notice we never go to the cemetery really?
I did notice that.
We just end at there. So I'm like, how do we get to the cemetery? Why do we never go to the cemetery? Everything just
Hmm,
ends and the casket is still there.
you're right.
Like, what's up?
Maybe.
What's up, HBO?
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
I mean, we
Maybe
don't have a budget to film in cemeteries all the time. I get it. But at least get the casket, like
I
make
need to
the
get the
casket
casket
go
out.
away or something. It's just odd because we really don't go to the cemetery and do burials hardly at all in the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, And usually we would just, that would be if they were getting cremated after or something, they would leave them
Yeah,
there.
maybe
But
that, or maybe the next they have to go the next day or something. But yeah, you're right. It is weird.
it is, that's something I noticed in this one that I hadn't picked up on before. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so we're leaving it, kind of some storylines opening with this threesome, like what's going to happen there with Claire and Russell. Like, did he sleep with the art teacher? Like, what's going on? Brenda, is she back? Is she not back? What is going to happen with, like we're building with the Arthur thing. It's like we're
Oh, and then Arthur,
building.
oh God, and Arthur's down in the prep room at the very end, cleaning.
I choose, I
Oh,
choose.
it's like a
Oh, and
horror
they
movie.
kissed. They kissed at the beginning of this
Oh,
episode.
well, she
Yeah.
kissed him.
She went in to
She
return his
like
laundry and
burning
she's
in
all
his
like,
laundry.
oh, and then runs away. Like it is all very, I'm 13 and I'm trying
It
to find a
is
boy.
so bizarre. It is, yeah, it's very bizarre. And then at the end, they're down, Arthur's cleaning and she comes down there and she's like, oh, it's like a horror movie. She's like, I choose you, Arthur, and I'm not afraid to say, I don't remember what she says, but something very, just, it's very almost
Yeah,
threatening in a way. It's just, it's very, very uncomfortable.
it's weird. It's weird. So who knows where we'll go because it's funny because I remember a lot of the first episodes and like the deaths and things and some of the storylines, but as we're getting more into like these later seasons, I don't remember as much from
Hmm.
watching it previously. And so a lot of it is very new again, which I'm loving because it is like I'm watching it for the first time. And so I'm like, golly, what's going to happen? Like, which way is this
Hmm.
going to go? I do remember a couple big things coming up.
Hmm.
I don't remember where along the storylines they happen, though. And so it's okay, when is this going to come into play? Because I don't remember, but
Yeah.
it's exciting. Yeah.
Ugh. It was just a kind of a gross episode. It's weird because like it's almost like Ruth is like almost like a predator.
She a little
You
bit,
know?
again, we don't know how old Arthur is.
I mean, he's of legal age, but he's still like so clearly.
I'm guessing. So he talks next episode, not to get ahead, I think is when they're sitting there and talking about his music. And they talk about how when he went to college and then when he went to mortuary school. So to me, it kind of ages him like he's 24, 25-ish.
Probably ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the storyline, but I think that Rainn Wilson just has always looked like a 40-year-old. So I don't think he ever probably looked like
No,
one of
that's
those
true.
guys that I
No, for
just think
sure.
looks older no matter what. He just did.
Yeah. And Ruth is probably 30 years older than him easily. Easily, more
Well,
than that.
I think we figured that one day. She is like 52 or 3 or
No, she's older than that
something.
because, yeah.
Well, she talked about, I want to say she had talked about having kids. Like she got married young, like at 18, 19, and then talked about having kids kind of right away. And if Nate's the oldest, right? So however old Nate is,
At this point, Nate's like 38.
because I feel like we need to go back to season one or season
Yep.
three, episode one,
Yep.
where he dies, because that'll tell us his age. And then that should give us more of, by golly, I'm on it. That'll give us more what her age is
Yeah.
to see because I think she's just one of those women that
Well, it says, remember at the, not to give away the end of the show, but we do see what year she was born. Uh, because that's how I knew I was the same age as Claire. Oh,
what
she was born in 1946. And it's
Ruth.
2000 and it's 2003 in the show currently.
So
Hold on.
54 plus 3. So she's 57.
Yes, she's 57. So 30 years,
Okay. So yeah,
right?
she's a good 30 years older than him. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's
No,
just,
you do you, Ruth. You get
it's
it, girl.
just, it's very odd. It's, if he were older, maybe they'd be a great match. Like, I think they might be a good match,
It's
but
kind of Harold and Maude.
yeah. But it's just, there's just something not right about it. I don't know. There's just something not right about it.
No, it just gets grosser.
Yeah.
But all right,
Oh.
catch us next week, guys. Next week will be episode 9. Great episode, brings a lot of storylines intersecting. We see these episodes once in a while where all the main
Mhm.
characters are in one place at one time and everything's kind of intersecting. So that's what
Mhm.
happens next week. And I love that because it opens some doors, it closes some doors, it crosses over some storylines, which it really gets interesting, I think, along the way.
Yeah.
So
A good one.
catch us next week, guys. Episode 9. Am I doing 9? Yes.
Yes.
I think when you're in the thing, like it's a cross.
It's,
And
yeah.
so I'm like, but I have
And
5
there's
left.
like a little
Why
bit
is
of a
there only
weird.
4? That took
Yes.
me a hot second. Woo, it's a Sunday.
Okay.
It's a Sunday. Oh, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.